Good morning. As you may know, in the first quarter, I interviewed 32 solution engineers who were hired in the last 18 months to understand their onboarding journey experience. More specifically, it is to understand what's going well, what's not going well, and what to do about it. Since I already concluded my findings, I would love to present the findings to you. So that's the purpose of today's meeting is to present you the findings that I have from the research and also the recommendations based on the research. I just want to confirm with you, I have 10 minutes of your time. Is that correct? Great, let's begin. In Q1, we launched an initiative called Voice of SE, and I personally interviewed 50% of the new hires who were hired within Asia Pacific in the last 18 months. And I tried to have a good mix of the solution engineers in terms of geographic diversity, seniority, and core specialists. And in the end, we did achieve the diversity that we planned. Overall, the feedback has been very positive, but we do have some issues that we need to address. And I have categorized the issues into three buckets. Before and during the bootcamp, that is in the first 60 days of their onboarding journey. After bootcamp, that's between 60 and 90 days of the journey. And lastly, is a miscellaneous items such as shadowing, trail guide, and piercer that will span across their entire 180 days onboarding journey. Any questions so far? No? Okay, cool. Let's delve into the issues part. And first, let's take a look at the before and during the bootcamp. That is in the first 60 days. What's your major issue? So in the first 6 days, usually the solution engineers spend a lot of time learning the material themselves. There are two major issues that stood out to me. First is that the solution engineer found the materials are scattered everywhere. And second is that the solution engineers expressed that they are lack of hands-on experience. They read a lot of materials, but they do not get hands-on experience, which is very important for a solution engineer. So what I would recommend personally is to develop a centralized platform for them to learn and also provide them with some practical case for them to get their hands dirty. And so I believe that would help them immensely in these two areas. Next, I would love to talk about after the bootcamp. After the bootcamp, a lot of SEs feel lost after the bootcamp because before the bootcamp, they have a structure. They know what to do, and in the first 30 days, they know what to do during the bootcamp, but they don't know what to do after the bootcamp. That is after they come back from San Francisco. So I would recommend to have a back-to-base program that will address some of the issues and problems that have not been addressed in the first phase, in the first 60 days of their onboarding journey. Next, I would love to talk about shadowing and enablement. Shadowing is one of the probably the most important things that solution engineers do in their onboarding journey. As you can see from the number, 60% of SE express a desire to shadow more. And so I would personally recommend to formalize the shadowing experience to make sure that the solution engineer receive enough shadowing sessions before they actually go to see a customer. And the other thing I want to address is the enablement part. The enablement right now is very classroom based. So we have learning session and the SD listen to the class, listen to the recording or listen to a live version. And then after a week, they forget probably 60%, 70% of it. So what will be more efficient in a modern workplace will be just in time learning. So a lot of SE they have expressed interest to me in they have expressed interest in just-in-time learning. What is that? That is to have a platform for them to search the material that they would need when they need it. And I would recommend Salesforce to establish such a platform to help the solution engineers to learn in the most efficient way. The last part I would love to address is Trail Guide and peer certs. Apparently, some of the SEs, they did not receive very consistent Trail Guide experience. And also they found that the peer cert process is very inefficient. So I would recommend to, first of all, to set up a checklist for all of the trail guides, that is all of the mentors we have for the new hires, and to make sure that they meet the minimum requirements. And next, I would love to have a revamp in a peer cert process, which I will not get into details today, but you can have a look at the details on the slides later. Next, I would love to get into the work plan for the onboarding programs. So I believe that to enable to address all of the issues we have, we need a twofold approach. First, we need a program implementation plan. And in the meantime, we also need a survey that measures the progress that we have. So here's how we do it. So the program implementation plan is a step-by-step plan that will ensure the success of the implementation of the program. And the program survey will also make sure that we measure the success of our program, and we understand what's going well, what's not going well within the program that we newly developed. So the first step for us is to establish a baseline. With the SEs that I have already interviewed, I will let them to do a survey. That is the baseline, and because that is the onboarding journey that they experience. After I created some new programs, I will let the new SE to do another survey to make sure that their satisfaction rate has gone up. In this slide, I've listed all of the learning needs I have identified in the previous slides, and also the onboarding programs that will be able to address all of those learning needs in the middle. And this, I believe that if we can launch all of these onboarding programs, we will be able to address all of the learning needs requested by the solution engineers. Lastly, I would love to show you a sample timetable for the solution engineers in their first 180 days. And I already categorized their onboarding journey into 3 parts. First is learn by yourself, and second is a formal classroom training, and lastly is learn from others. So I believe through these 3 parts onboarding process, and across the first 180 days, based on the research I've found, based on the research I've done, these will be able to help the SE to generate a much more efficient onboarding journey. That concludes my presentation. I will send out the slide to you later today, to make sure that you can forward this slide to other key stakeholders and managers within our company. And if this works, we will be able to launch the programs. Thank you.